Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the panel tonight. It's Bridgeman and the one and only Big Ulster. How we doing, mate?
Hi, mate. I'm doing very well. I know. Which one's his mate? Bridge, which one's his mate?
Oh, you're his mate, all right. You're his mate. I'll tell you, boy. You're his mate. He likes you. But can I just say a big good evening to the boys in the panel and a huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans all over the world listening in to us on our wee radio station here. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Okay, obviously a story broke just as we went on air, Bridge. Literally just about 10 to 9 there, rumoured that Bordeaux have come in with a bid for prize, one of our prize asset, Alfredo Morelos. Thoughts, mate?
Well, I would ask, in my head, I'm asking the question, is it real? Has it actually happened? Are they actually talking to Rangers? Is it somebody?
We don't know.
I know. I'm just wondering if there's a wee Celtic fan sitting in Sky Sports News thinking, I'll put this out. No. I'm just saying. These are the kind of thoughts that go through my head. But obviously, if it's 3.75 million, that's a good fee for most people. But really and truly, the way the wee man's playing and the way the fans have taken to him and the club, he's sort of got himself rejuvenated again. I doubt very much if Rangers would pass. They'll get out. Forget it. Just ignore it.
All right, they've rejected the offer anyway. Ulster, what's your thoughts? And it'd be interesting to see. Have you had a poll running and anything on Facebook lately?
No.
Right. I know Bridge doesn't like polls. He stopped flying a flag when. I'm not telling that joke. Anyway, Ulster, 10 million bid for Morelos. If it was come in. Accept or refuse. Interesting to see what people think. I know it's 3.75 rumoured to be, and it's been rejected, and rightly so, mate. What's your thoughts?
Don't get me wrong. Given how he ended last season and was starting, we're looking at him pre-season for the very beginning, and we're worrying a wee bit about Morelos. But he's came on the game, mate. I think it's too late in the window for me. I know we're looking for Lafferty, but Lafferty's not going to be your main striker. I like the big lad, he's good and all, but that's who we're looking for. And I don't think he'll do Morelos' work, the work rate that Morelos gives us. He's young and he's fresh, and it's just the money's not good enough, and especially this late in the window. I just can't see how we can go out and spend that kind of money and go out. And, if we get 3.75 million, can we go out right now into the market and get someone of equal ability? I don't think so, Ox. I don't think so, mate. And the window, I think we've got about 2 weeks left. To lose your best striker and only have Sadiq and a young fella at the minute in the club, I think that would be crazy.
I don't think he's the best striker in Scotland, mate. I think it's that big Belgium that plays for that team in the East End of Glasgow. I think he's the best striker.
Yeah.
He's a good striker.
Last night.
What do you think yourself, Fox, mate, on that one? That'll be a big debate tonight.
I don't know what's been said with Alfredo when he signed his new contract. Obviously, sometimes there's release clauses in there that we don't know anything about. It was rumoured to be last Christmas that it was 8-9 million was the figure mentioned. I think he started getting into that money. We'd need to think about it. Getting a replacement in, for me, that would mean we'd need to bring 2 strikers in because we're one light at the moment. So it's only England the window's shut. So if Mark Allen's got somebody lined up, I'd rather keep him as we sit today. But I understand how the game works, and if the money's right and they were to roughly triple their offer, I would think it would be something you would seriously consider. Bridgman.
Do you think? I was just going to ask that the Bordeaux. Do you think that they've got that kind of money to splash out? You know, I mean.
I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I
don't mean the 3.75. I mean, if we were saying like, you can have them for 10. Do they have £10 million to be able to? I don't know the club at all, really. Other than the fact that they play in France, you know. I don't know if they're a rich club, you know, like they're not like Barcelona or even some of the big German teams and things like that. You know, I'm just kind of. They're not PSG. I just can't believe that. Well, I doubt very much if they're going to bid £10 million anyway, you know. But 3.75. Can I just say, as what they say to Rangers? Most of the clubs say to Rangers when Rangers make a bid, it's a derisory offer, considering who they're bidding for.
It's been rejected, Bridge. It's been rejected.
I know, I can see that. I see
just quick, Bridge asks the question, do they have the money? Well, I'm just getting a message there from one of the guys that are listening in and saying that Bordeaux have actually sold the player for £36 million this window.
Wow. So they do have the money then?
Well, you'd like to think so if they're selling players for that. Well,
let's hold out for £10 million then. Absolutely.
Let's hold out for 35.
35, aye, absolutely.
Oh, I'd still be in profit. Them lot.
Well, you know, if they're bidding initial bid of 3.75, I doubt very much they're going to go to 10 million. You know, they might be maybe saying, well, they get to 5 and then they'll just chuck it probably if they go that far.
Well, there's the link there. Barcelona signed Bordeaux's Malcolm for 36.5 million.
Wow.
As Roma consider legal action. I don't know what that's all about, but that's from The Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So, bro, just as we went on air there, so interesting to see where it goes, and hopefully Alfredo's tucked up in his bed and it doesn't affect his night's sleep and he's fresh for tomorrow evening. Yeah,
desperately need to be. Let's hope so. You're right, Ox. Let's hope there's no impact on him at all and we get through this. Sometimes this can have an effect on the team as well. You know, can have an impact on the team. Negatively, of course. I don't want to end like that.
But what I will say, Bridge, is everybody's got different opinions. If somebody wants to go and they say they want to go and the price is right, I'm a great believer. You have to
go. Absolutely. Let's go. We'll make up for it somehow or other, and they will be sad to see you go. But thank you for your services. Cheerio. If they don't want to play, they don't want to play. There's nothing we can do about it.
Holster.
In my opinion.
Oh, you're right, guys. You know, if you don't want to wear that famous blue jersey anymore and you're trying to get yourself a move, then there's no point trying to keep them. We've seen what players do. We're seeing it already across the city. Once they dig their heels in, once they get the head turned, that's the end of it. And so Steven Gerrard, I think he's the kind of guy anyway, Ox. If you don't want to give 100%, he'll not have you there. But then it's all about getting the right money for us, getting the right deal. You know, I'm like, well, we'll wait and see. But I would hope if it was to happen and they offered silly money, say to do, and we were to accept it, I would like to think that, you know, we'll get that out of our heads. Forget about that as a team. I know we can talk about it as a support, but hopefully the team and the squad can just consider on the massive game we have tomorrow. And then when they come back, they can look and talk about whatever they need to talk about and see if we could get a replacement in.
Yeah, it'll be a story that'll run and run, but obviously we've got more important things at this moment in time, Bridgman.
Yeah, we desperately need to get past these things as well. You know, let's go on with what we're going to be doing, and hopefully it's going to be happy. And if Rangers have rejected it, then it's over to you, Bordeaux. Let's see if you're going to come back in, make some decent money, and we'll see where we go for there. Let's go on with our life.
Ulster, we've got more important things on the agenda tomorrow evening, 7:15 kickoff. I repeat, 7:15. I know a lot of people thought it might be a 7:45. No, 7:15. We're third qualifying round to get into the Europa League group stages, mate.
Well, this is it, man. I didn't think, you know, if you had told me, say, the start of this season, you know, at the very, very, very beginning, I would have been happy just to get to this stage, to be honest. Now we've got ourselves in the position that we are looking the favourites to go through this round. We're looking good. As you say, there's more important things. This is a massive game for us. Another step in the direction of the recovery, should I say, of our club, mate, both on European stage and at home in Scotland. And I would like to see us putting in a good performance tomorrow. But if it's another boring 0-0 away from home and it sees us through, a bit like Scoopy, I would take that every day of the week, Ox.
I think sometimes these games are about the result, but performance is secondary.
Oh, to me, it's getting through. It's all about getting through. For me, it's all about stopping them scoring. Nothing else matters. If we can score a goal, absolutely brilliant. But in reality, at the end of the day, we don't want them to score. We want to go there, do our business very, very professionally, tight at the back at all times as much as possible, and just don't give them a sniff. And if we get through 90 minutes or whatever, 90 odd minutes, without them scoring a goal, we're in the next round, and that's all I want. That's all I want in the next round.
Talking about people getting through, if anybody wants to join us, Pidge, what's the number?
Oh, the number's 0141 356 1972.
Where else can you join us, Ulster?
You can join us at rangersradio.online. You'll see a wee Skype icon, and if you click on that, you'll get yourselves to Foxy, and he will bring you in.
If you've got Skype.
If you've got Skype. And if you don't, get on it now. Get it done. Get yourself one made up.
Correct, mate. Anyway, my first caller for the evening's sneaked in. I'll give you a clue, Bridgeman. We know him as Rodney on here.
Rodney, Dave King's wine cellar.
Dave King, he'll know all about Morelos.
Well, it's a perfect match for him with the red wine.
Aye. I've decided not to sell him tonight. I'm actually going to keeping him on. I'm under here as a guise. Actually, I just want to see what the fans thought. So, I'm a front for Dave King. No, I think I've been listening to your points, guys, and I think you've all made valid points. I think, if I'm honest with you, would I sell him? Would I not? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I think if you look at Morelos right now, he is absolutely on fire. I think Morelos is a big person key in confidence, and I think he's got that under Gerrard. I think he lacked that last season. He's got it back again. He's under a good position. I think there's feelers coming out from the Colombian national team. Falcao's now kind of bowing out, if you like, and they need a replacement. Who better than somebody who's on form? I think the boy plays a lot. So in terms of not scoring goals all the time, I think he does all the work off the ball as well. So he contributes a lot to the team. See, when we're not scoring goals all the time, he's doing all the work that nobody likes to do in the background as well, and all the dogged work. I think the only concern that I have about him is his discipline, which has probably been publicly criticised, but I think it's part of his learning game. He's very young. I think he can develop into a great player. 3.75, it's over his market value, if I'm honest with you, in terms of what's actually out there just now, in terms of, I think we originally got him for an undisclosed fee, if I'm correct, and it was never shared what we bought him for, but I think it's genuinely over what the actual natural value would be at that time. However, now, in terms of us, where we're at, Europa League, what we want to do for this season, is it at our value? Absolutely not. I think we had the Chinese come in last stages, this year, trying to offer crazy money. Not sure whether it was true, whether it's not, whether it's fake news. However, I wouldn't sell them for anything less than what was presented at that moment in time. If somebody came in and said £11 million, you absolutely have to take it or even consider it. I think the question you have to ask, though, is if we do get through to Europa League stages and we're in the groups and stuff like that, what revenue do we generate versus what would we offset in selling him? And that's the question for me. But at the same time, if you try to build a team to progress and continue to progress and build on and go on, then that's great. That's what you need to concentrate on. And I think genuinely, Bordeaux offers crap. And I don't think we'll accept it. We haven't accepted it. And even if they came in with 6 or 7 million, I still don't think our club will accept it. And I think that's the great position we're in just now as Rangers Football Club, is that if somebody came in with a £6-7 million offer for a player, we wouldn't accept it. I might be wrong, guys. Don't quote me on that. But
a good point about the Chinese, mate. The Chinese are cash rich, I know, because Rudy was there the day.
They must be up in 40 million now, eh? Easy offering crazy money. Honestly.
You know, I have to say, Dave, and honest to goodness, in my experience now, based on what I know from last season, if indeed there was a bid in of £11 million for Alfredo Morelos, we didn't take it. Somebody wants shooting, really and truly, because that's nothing. You can't ignore bids like that. No matter who you are, you can't ignore bids like that. That's a tremendous bid. If they come in with 10 million now, he's sold. He's sold, pal.
Aye,
sorry, buddy. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're all right. The only thing I don't understand, and if you reflect back on last season, when we spoke about the 11 million pound it was at the time, Dave King actually came out in public and said that, we went to Graham Murray and asked the question, is this something we go through? Who in their right mind would actually sit there and say, let's go to an interim coach and ask them the question, do you want to sell that player, for £11 million? And also at that time, I thought, this season, if we don't qualify for Europa League, or even if we do, when we get to the group stages, it's worth £7 million. So revenue generating, you're still offsetting about £4 million. So why would you not do it? It just didn't make sense at the time. And this is the thing, you need to question the player's mentality, right? Because I think we were away, we were in somewhere, I can't even remember for the life of me the name of the club that we were away, but we were somewhere really crazy up north somewhere. And it was at the time that the bid came in, and I don't think they played him at the time. And they sat him out because his head wasn't in the right space. It was up north, up near Aberdeen or somewhere like crazy.
Fraserburgh.
Aye, Fraserburgh. That's what it was, right? And he said his head had gone. And at that point in time, see any game after that, he kind of didn't play to the exception that he wanted because, if I remember correctly, the Chinese transfer window was open to the end of February. So there was always that kind of, will they come back in? Will I get let it go? And our window had shut at that point, but his head wasn't in the right headspace. And then by the end of the time, we were kind of chasing second. We weren't really actually going anywhere. And that's kind of where his head went down. You question the mentality as well in terms of like the manager that we had at the time, the caretaker coach, Graham Murray, whatever you want to call it. Okay, maybe perhaps he didn't handle that situation as well as he should have done, but I genuinely believe since Gerrard came in, Morelos knows his place. You can see when he approaches the fans, when he scores, when he celebrates, he loves it. He's buzzing. He genuinely buys into the Rangers brand. And I genuinely, honestly don't think that he actually understands a word that we're saying, but he's passionate about the club. He feels it. He feels it from the fans and he loves it, and that's what drives him on and spurs him on. I think him and Candace have got a good mix between each other. And I think Candace probably spends a lot of time actually translating for him, saying these guys actually like you, But I wouldn't sell him. I wouldn't. And even if 10 million came in, I'd probably question what does that mean to us in terms of the Europa League this season and also the League and the League Cups, where we're at in terms of where we are just now. Because I don't think we're a selling club anymore, and that's a big change for us. We used to be a selling club, and I don't think that we have to. I think I'm not naive enough to think that if a good offer comes in, we won't release a player. But I do genuinely think we're now not in a position where we have to sell a player. It's up to us now, which is the big difference. We've now got people coming in from the Premiership, the Championship, all these places across the world looking at our players and trying to play bids. And I think last season the difference is that, you're taking the Barry Mackays and stuff like this, well, the 500Ks and like Waghorn, etc. They're all getting sold on now for crazy money. We should be in a position now, and this is where Mark Allen should step in and say, we're not accepting poor bids for our players. They're quality players, they're talented players. If you want them, pay for them. If you don't, we're going to retain them at Rangers, and that's the way. That's the way it should be. It's the way I've always known it, but it's been different for a couple of years. But I genuinely think now that we're starting to get into that position. It's kind of echoing the thoughts of the guys for last night's shows. It's changing, the tide's turning. We're starting to become what we will and swear.
I think. On you go, Bridge. On you go, mate.
I was just going to say that there's a number of the players that were with Rangers, and we thought they were absolutely superb. In fact, we went and bought one. Was Jean-Alain Bousson. And he was there 6 months, and we sold him in Newcastle for like £8.5 million because they came in and offered £8.5 million, and we didn't refuse it. We took the money. It's the same with Alan Hutton. Alan Hutton says, I don't want to go, and he was told quite categorically, you're going. £9 million. I think Rangers, that's in the past. So I doubt very much there would be any change in the present. It's if somebody comes in and says there's £10 million for one of Rangers' players, I don't think Rangers would refuse it. I think they would refuse that 3.75, even up to 5 million. But once it goes over that, they're starting to get tickled. I honestly believe that sincerely. I don't think our players are quite the quality to demand the high fees right at this moment. If we get a season and we get through into Europa League, as I've said all along, get into the group stages, the value of our players will go sky high compared to what they are. Right? That may be it now. So, I can't say
everybody's got a price. It depends on clauses in their contract. If they're allowed to speak to clubs when you get a certain level, how long they've got left in their contract, what you're paying them. If you're paying somebody, Ulster, I'll say the equivalent of a £2 million player, and you start knocking back bids of double that guy will be saying, wait a minute, if I'm worth more than that, I want the wages to go with it.
Well, this is it, mate. And it won't even be the player, it'll be the agent. Because the agents are involved in all the deals. They're the ones, mate, that'll be looking in. As you say, once you start knocking back the big bids, they'll be saying, listen, hold on, my player is worth such and such, more than what obviously he's paid for him. Surely that means he deserves a contract that's worth it, And this is, agents sort of run the game now, mate, and this is what happens, and you have to do these things to keep players happy. But I still think Dave is correct there. We aren't in a position that we really need to sell at the minute. We're in a good position. I still think no matter what the bid is, Stephen Gerrard will be the man to make the final decision. I think it'll obviously be. I think he will, mate. I think he definitely will.
What did they say last week with the Windass? If you think back, the board said they accepted the cash offer. And then he said to the player, what do you want to do? He said they want to talk to him, and he basically intimated, says, well, if that's the case, on you go then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the board would need to accept the financial terms. As much as I love what Steven Gerrard's doing, the board's got a different role to play in it, and if somebody does come in with stupid money, they don't. They've got to think of other things as well as they've got to think of the financial side of the game, not just the football side of the game. Where Stevens,
I know that,
the football, yeah.
I get that, but the difference between Windass and Morelos is our lead attacker. Windass was a player, mate, that would have fluttered in and out. And there's no doubt in my mind before they accepted any bids, mate, that they've spoken to Stephen Gerrard behind closed doors and maybe thought that a bid was maybe coming, and would he be happy to see the player go for a certain amount? Whether, I don't think they would go ahead and accept the bid at this late stage in the window, because that'll be pivotal. Or, a goal scorer is pivotal if you want to do anything in a league. And, to say that we got offered 8 million, the club was to accept it without speaking to Stephen Gerrard, I think Stephen Gerrard would be a wee bit annoyed with that. It's because he hasn't got the time, I don't think, to go out and spend that money. You need to do a lot of. You have to sit back and you have to look at it. And,
apart from England, where you can still get loan players for, the window's still opened in the rest of Europe.
I know, but what is it? We got 2 weeks. I think we've got about 2 weeks, don't we? I don't know, but maybe you're right, mate. I just think because it's different with. I just think it's different because Morelos is so vitally important. We're still looking at another attacker. We still haven't got the other attacker in. So we still think we maybe need 2, and that's because Morelos there. Maybe now you're talking maybe 3 if you would to sell Morelos,
Here's a question for you.
Just give a second, and I'll come right back to Dave. Stickman Jimmy, it's 24 minutes past 9. We're live. Okay, mate. Carry on, Dave.
I don't know what that means, but okay. Here's a question for you, right? Say, for example, we accept a bid. A bid comes in at 8 million, right, for Morelos. We accept it and he goes. Would you guys be happy with Lafferty signing for 750k and Solanke on loan for a season as a replacement, as a backup? Do you think that would appease the fans?
Where are you getting this for? I just get that sent through Newshound. CC just sent me that literally 30 seconds ago.
Who?
The Newshound, people all know who that is. Yes.
I feed live for myself. Stop looking at other outlets to try and get it. Get me.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. So what you're telling me is you talk to yourself? You talk to yourself?
That's it, naturally. I'm a psychotic. No, I think it's a good question, you know, because I think to myself...
Would that give us a better squad or a better teammate? That's the problem, Matt. But Lafferty come in for me improves our squad at the moment. Lafferty come in, improves our squad, aye. No necessarily our team.
So, there's a couple of things for me, right? I think Lafferty gets it. I think he gets Rangers. He's a Rangers fan. He's openly come out during this kind of pre-transfer saga, if you like, totally he's admitted he's a Rangers fan and he's not hiding away or shying away from it. I think his goal ratio last season was 40 games played, scored 20. There's no doubt his ability. He doesn't score all the time, but he's a big game player. I think when we look at, if you look at prior to 2012 in terms of the league trophies won and where we won it, he scored the winning goals in pretty much all of them and made sure that we won those days and won those trophies. So the guy gets it, you know. I think we've changed, though. I think it's changed times, and I'm always nervous around old players coming back thinking they can just pick up a wage, or it's the Bruno Alves effect and the Joey Barton, you know, are you coming here just because it's the big club, you get a big wage, you know, but I don't think Lafferty would do that. Not only that, I don't think that he's going to be our number one striker. So for me, Morelos does it for me just now, but only just now. I think, if I'm honest with you, back end of last season, he didn't, and I would have happily sold him because he lost his head, lost his way, but that's probably under poor management. So it's, if we do sell him, which if we do, and I get it, it's a board decision, you know, it'll be taken out of Gerrard's hands. If the money comes in that's right, it's a financial decision that has to be made sense. The guys have to make a decision that's not made through their heart or their mind, it's made through, it makes business sense, you know, you get that, but it's, where's the replacement coming from? Back to Ulster's point, there's only a couple of weeks left in the window. Who do we get in that can fit in, gel and mould and go straight away? Because it's maybe taken a couple of guys quite a long time to get bought in. You look at Sadiq just now, I genuinely don't think that he's firing all cylinders at this moment in time, but you need to say, okay, all right, maybe he's got, I don't know, what is it, like lack of match fitness, so you need to give him the time to adapt to, i.e. Scottish football, and to get his fitness back up. But at the same time as well, it's, I genuinely don't think he's an out-and-out striker. He's a number 9 player, if you like. I think he's kind of somebody that's there, the odd end, the Tory Andrew thrower, the Peter Couch, do you know what I mean? That's just there to knock it down for a young natural no-boy, a young Alan McCoist, you know, but they're definitely not an out-and-out striker. And then behind that, you get Zach Rudden. And that's it. That's our striker.
Yeah, we are light, mate. Let's be hypothetical. I think we need a striker in. And if that striker's to be Lafferty, I think that gives us better cover and maybe helps the Boyd Rudden get to where he's going to be. Whether he'll be the answer long term, I don't know, but best of luck to the lad.
Can I ask a question, Ox?
Wait a minute, Badge,
Okay,
mate.
Sorry, Pat.
If Morelos leaves and Lafferty comes in and another comes in, say the name you mentioned, Solanke, does that necessarily improve our team? I think it improves our squad again, but whether it improves our first 11, I'm very doubtful. Dave, we've been joined by Blue Shadow. How we doing, Blue?
How we doing, mate? Not too bad. Not too bad myself. Just thought I'd phone in and this thing about Lafferty. He might have scored 20 goals in 40 games. I don't know about that, but I know he scored 12 goals in 35 games last year. And for me, if we could have got him for 200,000 to strengthen the squad, I'd have said, yeah, go for it. That's it. You know, he could come on, get a goal now and again, even with his how can I put it? It's inconsistency. He doesn't turn up for at least half the season. But for me, we could do with Lafferty, Solanke, and Morelos at the minute, because we're not getting I don't think we're getting anything from the big fella yet. So I think that's the sort of level we need to be at just now. Would those two be a replacement for Morelos? Not for me, mate. Definitely not.
Bridge, you were coming in, mate, before.
I was just going to ask you a question. The guys, he's waxing lyrical about Lafferty, and the question is, we were talking about just earlier. We said, well, if we're going to value a player at 10 million quid, then his agent might step in and say, hey, what's the score here? You know, you're telling him he's worth 10 million, so where's the wages to go with? Does that mean that Hearts, who have told Rangers they value Lafferty, at 750,000. Do you think Lafferty's getting the wages for a 750,000 player at Hearts? That's the question.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Genuinely not, mate. I don't think he's getting that kind of money. And I think it's the same. It's not even just Hearts. You know, when you've got this Point Bridgeman all the time, you know, you'd never sell to an SBL club, and I genuinely don't think that they do to us. And if they do, they'll sell it at over the value price. You need to look at Lafferty. He's for free in January. Do we need him right now? Do we need him at this moment in time? And it's back to Blue Shadow's point. You know, we don't want Lafferty on his own to replace Morelos. We want Lafferty as an addition to Morelos on the basis that it's a backup in case something happens. You know, we shouldn't be in a position where we say, right, let's replace one striker with 8 other. It should be, yeah, we'll take him. We'll take him on less than what you're quoting, and we'll have him in the back burner in case something happens. That's the way it should be.
Blue?
Yep, as I said, you know, I can't go much further than what I said earlier. I mean, I think there is a player there in Zach Rudden. I think he's one of these players that we might get something off him towards the end of the season. I think we should bring him in slowly because there was a big noise made out of him when he was younger in his career, and I think it went to his head a bit, and they had to pull the rug out from underneath him a bit just to cool him down a bit, and he's come back onto a game since then. So I think we should just take our time with the young lad. So as I say, I mean, I know this Solanke is supposed to be a player. He's got good touch and he's good speed and all the rest of it. But will he work up here? We don't know. I mean, so there's some great players come up here and they've just not fitted into the Scottish game. So
fair comment, mate. See your point about Rudden, mate. His game's improved since Broxy Teddy took him under his wing.
Well, you guys say, I mean, having never met Broxy, but from what you lads tell me about him, I'd want to get in the wrong side of Broxy.
Absolute gentleman, the man is absolute gentleman.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we've been joined by one of the up-and-coming stars of Rangers Radio, Cushy. How are you doing, Cushy?
Cushy number.
Even guys who are in lights. They're not disco lights, are they, also?
Do you want to buy it? Do you want to buy it?
I'm sure they're going cheap. Yes.
How are we doing, Cushy? We're obviously talking about the breaking news. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen Sky Sports News on. What's your own thoughts?
Yeah, I'd be disappointed to lose Morelos at this stage in the season. I think he's turning out to be a player that is pivotal to how Steven Gerrard sets his team up and how the team plays. And I'd be very disappointed to see him leave. That being said, every single player out there has his price. And I'm sure if the correct bid came in, then we would probably grudgingly wish the boy well and see him on his way. But the money would have to be right for that. And the type of sums that have been quoted at the moment, I think in terms of the 3.75 million that we've allegedly rejected, I don't think comes close to what we should be expecting for a boy who's starting to really find his feet, find his way in our team, and start to put in performances in Europe. And that's obviously what Bordeaux what's caught Bordeaux's eye. And I think the price he's been quoted are just simply too cheap for him.
Big Ulster.
No, I think Cushy's right, mate. I think Rangers will be looking a lot more than that for him. I think Bordeaux's chancing their arm with that bid. And I think if Rangers were to accept the bid, mate, I think it'll be a lot higher than that. But we'll have to wait and see how much Bordeaux want them. It's like anything, you know yourselves. If a club really, really wants you and they have the wages there to pay you, there's no doubt that the agents will be pushing their players to try and sign these things. That's the way football works now, unfortunately. But at that money, I'd be very disappointed if we were to lose our number one striker for that kind of money, mate. This later on in the window.
Do you listen to the archives, Ulster, at all?
Yes.
Maybe I suggest you go back a month.
I'd have punted him for 2 million a month ago. That tells you how much I know.
Guys, just a point, right? Oh, sorry, but
on you go, mate.
See, last season, right? we got the bid for China for 11 million for him, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. We get put out on game 1 in Europa League. Yeah?
Round one,
put out.
Yeah.
So then this season...
Did you have to mention that?
Hey, I never said progress, but okay. So this season we're doing better than we did before. What possesses a club or an agent or a company to position? Do you know what? Actually, somebody put in £11 million. They're actually doing better. The guy's actually scoring goals, which contributes to the team's performance. Let's stick in 3.75. Where does that come from? Is that an insult, a cheeky bid? Is it a question of our integrity? Do they want to check and see, are we genuinely interested? Or is it just a taster to say, let's stick in a crazy bid, but then we'll come back with a real offer? Because if we were, I genuinely think, and if you think where we are just now, and if you listen to the show over the last couple of weeks, we all genuinely feel we're massively different compared to where we were last year. Why would they come in with a bid like that?
Can I come in on that?
On you go, boy.
I think it probably comes from the fact that we've let so many players go for either nothing or next to nothing. It's going to take a while for us to build up a reputation that, if you're going to come in for one of our players, then you better put some decent money on the table or they're not going to listen to you. And I think that's basically where that one's coming from.
That's actually hit the nail on the head, mate. Honestly, because I think I made a point earlier on about Barry Mackay and stuff like that, leaving for 500k, Wycon leaving and getting sold on for X millions now, and I genuinely can't believe it. I find it really hard to believe that we as a club don't add. See, I would be happy with selling somebody for 500k if we had sell-on value, a percentage of sell-on value. If we're not doing that, why not? And also, I think your point's true, Blue. It's...
True, Blue, I see what you've done there. I like that.
I like that, No, but I think it is genuine, We're a victim of our own kind of history, if you like, where we've not actually positioned players or valued players as what we actually feel they're worth. So therefore, people come in with crap offers because historically over the last 2 seasons it's been accepted.
Can I come in there, Hawks? Yeah.
Just on you go, mate.
No, I was just going to say, I think my honest opinion, we'll probably find that Rangers have spoke to them about this bid, and in all probability, if Turner says no, we would value him at X, and they've probably walked away from it, and they'll probably never come back. In all probability, they'll probably put in £5 million and we'll start talking or something like that. I don't mean to be funny, but something like that, and they've just walked away because just the stories that you were talking about, the conversation you had in the last couple of minutes there, that's probably absolutely true, that they're looking to come up to Rangers and any other Scottish club for that matter and pick up a bargain, particularly Rangers, simply because we've let it happen over the last 3 or 4 transfers of some of our better players for peanuts.
What you don't know, and I'll go to Cushy with this, if he's the nod, he might be getting called into the next Colombian national squad and his agent's then flogging him about Europe, because then you become a different... because football's just a village and people know what's happening, especially with these agents who have no morals. Because we don't know, do we, really, in reality?
No, we don't. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and agents, seem to have this kind of cloak and dagger element to them with regards to that. And I'm sure they're only trying to do what's best for the players and what's best for their pockets at the end of the day. So we don't know the full facts of it, but I think regardless of whether it goes to any other team, such as at that level of Bordeaux, I think if he keeps up his performances with Rangers, he's still going to get the nod for the Colombian team or be there or thereabouts for them. So I don't think he necessarily needs to go to the likes of Bordeaux for that to actually happen. I think there's enough buzz round about Steven Gerrard and round about Rangers at the moment that what he's doing will be getting noticed, and the people who pick the Colombian squad will be well aware of where he is in his career. I don't think he needs to move to get to the Colombian squad. I think if he keeps banging in the goals for us and keeps doing the superb job that he's doing in Europe for us, he will be there eventually anyway. But I think in terms of what the previous caller said, why would these guys come in with a low bid like that? Given our recent financial history, and where we've been, where the club's been recently, it's no surprise to me that clubs come in with these low bids. as some of the other guys have said, we've sold so lowly in recent times that it makes absolute financial sense for these guys to do that. So it's no surprise that we see a cheeky bid coming in. I just hope we realise that it is a cheeky bid and we can say no thanks, and we're in absolutely no position to sell. And there's nothing suggests to me that we particularly are in a position to sell. So I hope the player's happy, and if he's happy and we're in no position to sell, then he won't be going anywhere. Then he won't be going anywhere. Then he won't. Then he won't be going anywhere.
All right, we've been joined by Fox. It'd be interesting to get his views. If you can, when you're not speaking, can you please go on mute? How are we doing, Fox?
Fine, guys.
What's your view on this?
I wouldn't sell Alfredo's chant to Bordeaux for $3.5 million or 3.75. I think what's drew attention to Morelos is the Lafferty transfer, believe it or not. If people are watching from outside, especially in a foreign country, they may think that we're buying Lafferty, who's made headlines there, probably in Europe, because he scored against the Mankey mob on Saturday. And they might think that we're going after Lafferty at a reasonable price, and maybe we're thinking of selling Morelos, mate. And I think that's where the cheeky bids came from. People that aren't really informed up to how much Morelos has, for me, transformed since last season. He's a more all-round player now. I mean, he's starting to turn with the ball when he gets it up front. It's not always knocked back. He's got good strength, and his passing's improved tremendously for last year as well. I think a reasonable bid for Morelos, like some on the panel, would be over 10 million, mate, in today's market.
Dave?
No, I agree. I totally agree, and I think kind of like what the rest of the guys have said. It's difficult to see. If it did happen, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's difficult to see. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't pretend to do that either, but I don't think we're in a position where we need to sell at this moment in time. I've got nothing to back that up, but I just think that the players that we are looking at this moment in time, Lafferty and 8 other, is purely for backup around our strike force, not to replace.
If one goes out and one goes in, Cushy, our squad's no strong enough still, in my opinion.
I don't think Lafferty's a player that Morelos is. So I think if that's who is replacing him, even in the short term, then that's a step backward as far as I'm concerned for the club. I would hope that if Morelos was to go at any time, we would be looking to get someone in to replace him. That would be a better option than Kyle Lafferty. Don't get me wrong. I think Lafferty will do a good job at us at the right price. But as I said at the start of the show, I believe that Morelos is pivotal to how that Rangers team is playing under Steven Gerrard at the moment, and he seems to be thriving under in the way he's been asked to play and the players he's got round about him. So I don't see Kyle Lafferty come in by himself and filling that hole, unfortunately.
I agree, mate. It wouldn't have been improvement. We would slightly deplete our squad, in my opinion. Yeah, on you go, Blue.
I think it might get it if the board think they can swap Lafferty for Morelos. I think there'd be not just danger of lowering the quality of the squad. I think it would make the manager seriously consider his future at Rangers unless they gave him the money to go out and get somebody in who's of a superior quality to Morelos.
But can I ask a question on that one, Blue Shadow? What if our manager actually does want to get to Lafferty? What if he does? What if he's saying to the board, no matter what, I want Lafferty in? I don't know if he's able to do that, but he could, couldn't he? I mean, you might hear more things I don't hear, but maybe he would.
Can he see it, mate? Can he see it?
No, I can't see either myself.
Not a million years. Because the fact is, even if just leaving aside goal scoring on the link-up play, Lafferty doesn't even come close to what Morelos does up front for us. In the last half a dozen games or so, since he just seems to have something's clicked and he's got going again. Lafferty couldn't do half of what Morelos does up front.
But there's no doubting the attraction that a lot of Rangers fans have for Lafferty, because he scores very good goals. Invariably, he scores good goals, and particularly against them across the road, it seems to always do well. And of course, he's got the history of being with Rangers. And there's a whole load of Rangers fans just desperately keen to get the guy in. I dare say at a reasonable price, and maybe 750,000 is a reasonable price to them.
You're hitting it right on the nail there, Bridge. It's just because he scored that goal against the Towns last week, and a lot of Rangers fans have gone, "Oh, Lafferty." It's a load of rubbish for me. Sorry. I think he's a good. He'd be a useful addition if we can get him for the right price.
To the squad, mate.
Exactly. And Hearts are no going to guess it.
I wouldn't want to pay 750,000 for any player just to have him in the squad for a start. I wouldn't want to pay, I'll say it again, I wouldn't want to pay any money to any Scottish team ever again. Not one brown coin, never. But, as I said, Lafferty could come in, and a lot of guys like him, a lot of guys want him to come in, and if he comes into Rangers, he'll be far more welcome than anybody else if he scores goals. That's all.
Big Ulster.
Well, it's not about the goal for Celtic for me, for Lafferty. I watch him from my country, and I think he's a good player. That's just my point. I do want Lafferty in. I think Lafferty will do us a job, and I think if he has doubters, which he does have, I think he can do a good enough job to change people's minds on him going forward if we can get him. I don't want Lafferty in to replace Morelos. I want Lafferty in as added firepower to what we already have. If you needed, say, Morelos, needed a bit of a break, you've got a player that you can bring in that we know can do a job on Scottish level. You can also play on the left of a front three as well, which we've seen him do for Hearts. But I wouldn't, I would be disappointed, as much as I love the big man, I would be disappointed if we were to sell Morelos and replace him with Lafferty without adding anybody else in.
Christ, that Ulster makes him sound like the Irish Lewandowski.
Well, he is, isn't he? He is. I mean, his goal scoring at international levels pretty remarkable, because whether you like it or not, and I'll go to Cushy with this first, he's never really been prolific, is he? He's been a regular scorer of goals, rather than being prolific.
He's never been prolific, but he scored some very important goals for Rangers in the past. And he's not typically been a lad that scores the fourth goal in a 4-1 rout. He's typically been the lad that scores the first, the important goals, the first goal or the goal that gets the winner, etc. But he's not been prolific. The guys have touched on it already. A very useful addition that would supplement our squad and certainly add to the squad quality, but certainly not to replace Morelos, as Ulster says. I don't think he's got the capabilities that Morelos has in terms of holding the ball up. The runs that he makes, the way he wins free kicks and penalties for us round about the box. I just don't.
Bridge,
think
man, you're tighten, mate. Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Cushy.
That's all
I
right.
think you're right there. They're slightly different players. Morelos has improved in the last, let's be honest about it, since the season started. And I think I've seen him smile for the first time ever on the park on Sunday there when he hit the deflected shot that the goalie saved when he should have maybe squared it to Tav. I've never seen him smile before.
Yeah. I mean, his demeanour's been so much different in the last few months from what it was at the tail end of last season. Everything about the boy, he seems to be playing, as you say, he's smiling a lot. Everything, it just seems to have been kind of coaxed around that, the world is not out to get him, and that, he has to go out and do his best and try and enjoy what he's doing. That I just don't think, harking back to the bid that we've got, I just don't think that at this stage, even if we were to get, even if the board suddenly sanctioned a move for $4 million or something like that for Morelos, I think that would be a real step backwards for this at this stage, because this late in the transfer market, who are we going to get for $4 million that we know is going to be of the same quality? And that's the point. It's not just about bringing someone in who you think has got the same quality. It's somebody that you're certain is going to do the same job as you've got the guy that's just left. And absolutely nothing is guaranteed in football. So you could go out and you could spend that $4 million on someone, and you could get a complete dud who hates Scotland and hates Scottish football and sulks about, and before you know it, you're trying to punt them for 500 grand 12 months down the line. And we've been there very, very recently.
You're speaking about Penna there.
I'm actually not, but the more I was actually talking about it, the more actually Carlos Pena was springing into my head. So I didn't have him actually. I wasn't actually thinking about what I was saying, but we've been there very, very recently with those type of players. And it's having that money in the bank is no guarantee of replacing the person that you've just sold with equal quality. So for me, it has to be either funny money, the player himself wants to leave, and I certainly don't get that impression with his demeanour, or if it's a no sale. As far as I'm concerned, and we move on. We tell Bordeaux it's no sale, and let's get concentrating on the game tomorrow night, and hopefully the playoff games, and then fingers crossed after that the group stages.
I agree with you. I hope they get it all sorted out and resolved, and there's no bid to all intents and purposes, and the manager's happy that the bid's been rejected, because what we don't want a board versus manager confrontation in any way, shape or form. Now we want to be able to get rid of all that, get that out of our head. We're playing in Europe tomorrow. Let's go on with it. Like to get the team on the part and win.
As somebody in the lobbies, sorry mate.
On you go, mate.
As someone in the lobby saying, don't bother, sign him in January. He doesn't surface till April anyway.
He's a daffodil. That's always a dilemma for. Well, been here before. Was it the boy? Funny enough, with Hearts again, the boy Walker last year, his contract.
Shocking.
When do you go? I mean, what is that? About 18 weeks, and then you can sign Lafferty for nothing.
1st of January. 1st of January.
Mm-hmm. So September, October, November, December.
When you say you can sign him, he'll sign on a pre-contract, but you'll not get him until the end of June, or end of May.
That's what I said. You can sign him. I never said they'd be playing on the 1st of January. Sure. Now, you might then say, we'll give you £100,000. You can let them go early. It's always a dilemma for a club when somebody gets in the last year of your contract. And there's part of me with the bridge. I'd be tempted to wait till January, but if the manager feels as if he needs them, that's a problem. On you go, Blue.
I think I just pick up what you said at the end there. I think the manager thinks he needs somebody and needs another striker, which is, I think every single one of us feels the same way. We need another striker, because if Morelos gets injured, we don't have the players to pick up the slack, even if it's for 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think.
Yeah, Dave.
No, absolutely agree, lads. I think it's one of those ones you want Lafferty as an addition, you don't want him as a replacement. And I think I'd be happy to wait to January to get him on the free. But I think we do need somebody else in there that's going to come in and have firepower. But even the guy that I mentioned earlier on, Solanke, comes with a big history, big kind of CV, if you like, but there's no guarantees. So we've got somebody there that's firing goals left, right and centre just now for us. If we replace them or if we buy an addition, we need them and some, not just to come in and replace a striker that we've got. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's a no-go. I would hold on to Morelos as much as I can, because I think he'll define our season, and I think Gerrard knows what makes him tick. He's probably spoken to him, and he knows that he's coming up for Colombia, and I think given our coverage and press relating to Gerrard and particularly how we're doing in Europe, would be naive to let him go, and he'd be naive to go as well. But like you say, at the end of the day, money talks, guys, and that's what it is. So I just hope we keep him, and also I hope we add on as well, because if we don't and we let him go and we bring in a Lafferty or even a Louis Mo in this world, then it's not good for Rangers.
All right, just quickly before we go to a tune, but a hypothetical here. This bid ends up at £8.5 million. You've got to make a decision. You're sitting in the boardroom. Ulster, what do you do?
It's a hard one. It's a hard one, mate. I'll give you two answers, right?
No, it's a yes and a no, mate. Come on.
Well, at the minute, I would say no. If you were saying to start a window, yes.
£8.5 million cash in your hand with a 15% sell-on clause.
At the minute, I'd say no because we're just not guaranteed.
All right, okay, that's fair enough. Blue Shadow.
I would. Again, I agree with Ulster. It's a tough one, but I think it would totally depend on what I had in my scouting books as what I could replace him with. If we could find somebody we seem to be doing well with Croatian players, and we were looking at a couple of Croatian players that seem to have gone quiet forward, or that were strikers. So if £8.5 million plus, if we had somebody that we were fairly confident could come in and fill it up, I would take it.
All right, Fox?
I wouldn't take it, mate. Not at all.
All right, at least you're decisive, mate. Carry on.
Oh, that's about it. I was just going to say, if it was a case that we'd done a deal for £8.5 million or 9 or 10 and we were allowed to keep him for the rest of the season, I would take that, mate.
All right. Maybe. Kuchi?
It all comes down to the finances of the club, I think. If they're still as relatively tight as we probably all suspect we are, it's not a bottomless pit of money that we've got, and I think we're probably approaching the bottom of the pit at the moment. That being the case, we still have a business to run, and £8.5 million with a 15% sell-on clause is excellent money in the Scottish transfer market. So from a purely financial perspective, I would say yes. From a footballing perspective, I don't want him to go though. If, however, we have got an anonymous backer that everybody's whispering about, and money is no object, and we don't need to sell, then keep the boy.
Have you met Bridge, Cushy?
No.
No. He's got more money than sense. Bridgeman, what would you do?
Sell.
I like a man that sits on the fence. Dave?
I wouldn't sell. See, if I'm honest, guys, right, see if you said to me, if it's the difference between second and first next season, I wouldn't sell, and I would take the deficit financially on the basis of winning a trophy, then that would be the case. I think if we do sell, we accept second right now. I think that's the honest opinion. I don't think that we can bring anybody in that's naturally comfortable where they are just now at this moment in time to deliver what he's going to deliver for us over the next couple of months. So I think if we sell him just now and couldn't find a good replacement, we accept second at this stage. So for me, I would rather take the financial deficit because I think we can recover it versus the fans' engagement over not recovering it and accepting second.
Just to let the people in the lobby know, there'll be no tunes tonight. We're having technical difficulties.
They'll go mad.
I'm sorry.
Is that because Gallant's not on?
No, I'm only joking. If you don't mind going on mute, Fox will give us a tune.
Every other Saturday's my half day off, and it's off to the match I go. Happily we wander down the Copeland Road, me and my wee pal Joe. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on, we love to hear the boys all roll. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. Me, oh my. Oh, how we love to see them try. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roll. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score. exhibition in the Scottish Cup. The game of Wembley was up too. And when the Rangers win the European Cup, as we've done with everyone before, we'll gather round the Ibrox Park 100,000 strong and give the boys an Ibrox roar. Me, oh my, oh how we love to see them try. We love to see the lasses with the blue scarves on. We love to hear the boys all roar. But I don't have to tell you that the best of all, we love to see the Rangers score.
You want to pick that up, Ulster? I think upstairs dropped out. Oh, he's back.
I'm back, mate.
You never get rid of Oxy for long. You never get rid of Oxy.
Get rid of me as soon as you leave. Anyway, we move on. That was filled the first hour of the show. We didn't know it was coming. It broke about 10 to 99. Some real interesting thoughts on Alfredo Morelos, the player, the financial side of the game, and also teams where we are and how we would replace them. But we've got a game tomorrow night. And what's your thoughts on that? Choose your number then, Dave. Can somebody go on mute who's making a cup of tea or something, please? Carry on.
I think it'll be a tough night. I think we'll have to do what we've been doing recently in games, and against the teams who've been down to 10 men, such as Aberdeen and St Mirren, and keep it tight, keep our shape. Deny the other team space, and then look see what we can do on the break and at set pieces. And I think that's the way we'll play. I'd be surprised if we come out with the kind of high press. So I do expect us to press it sometimes in the games, because I didn't rate Maribor's defence. I thought going forward they were good, but I didn't rate their defence. So I think it's do what we've been doing with the 10 men, only with 11 men in the park. Keep it tight, stop letting them play. And then when we've got the ball, see if we can punish them quickly on the break. But I don't think even at 3-1 this game's over and done with. I would love for us to get an early goal and just settle everybody's nerves. But I could certainly see us going 1-0 down from Maribor, and then it'll be a test of our mettle, I think, and a test of our backbone to get us through. But I think we will go through. I think there's enough in the team there that to get us to progress, as long as we don't do anything stupid and don't and defend properly. But I think it'll be a tough night. But I'm optimistic it'll go through.
Do you think it'll be one of the games we'll need to watch behind the sofa?
I've absolutely no doubt it'll be one of those games. I can imagine them. I can imagine them scoring, and then I'm watching it through my fingers in the last 10 minutes. Which are always the longest 10 minutes of your life every time when a team's trying to score against you and you're defending like that. So yes, that's the kind of game I'm kind of expecting. I hope we don't do that, and we score a goal at the start, and then we just keep it tight, keep possession, and just take the game away from them. But I think that'll be a tough ask. They're at home. They have a decent team going forward, a very technical team. They zip that ball about against us, particularly in the last 20 minutes of the first half at Ibrox. And we were chasing shadows a little bit for that last 20-25 minutes. So we need to nip that in the bud, get on the ball, keep possession, and optimistic if we do that and we defend properly that we will go through. But I don't think we're in for an easy night of
it. Dave.
I think the same, guys. I think as long as we keep our clean sheet when we go away, then we'll do well. I think if we score the first goal, it'll be all right. I think if there's a goal scored against us, then it's backs against the wall. Marlon Everson's around the defence. I'm not sure what the defensive lineup is for the night. I know there's been talk about Harley and stuff like that going in there as well, and that's my only nervousness around the game, particularly if we say that as a team we need to play defensively on the night. I think if we don't have the original shape, then that could be where the weak point is, and perhaps that's where their manager has said that they know how to beat or win against us. That could be the case, but I'm genuinely honest when I say this. I have every confidence in us going through. I think we'll play well. I think when we played against Scoopy, we played that game plan to our own position. I don't think that we didn't choose to be boring and play that way, and I think that that's the way that we chose. And I've genuinely confidence in that team that regardless of what way that they line up, I think the first 10 minutes is key, because we'll check them against the way that we position ourselves, and I think that will define the way that we play. But I have every confidence that we'll go through. I don't think that we won't, and I think that maybe perhaps in future we can buy some lights for the stadium.
Make a cheeky bid. Blue Shadow.
I think I agree with Lad there. I think if we sit back, we're inviting pressure onto what presumably will be Halliday at left back, and I think that is a mistake. I think if we sit back as well, when certain players do go forward, that's going to open up our formation and allow this team to pass through us, which they did on this second half of the first half, if you know what I mean. The last 20, 25 minutes of the first half, when they scored and we lost our track a bit, lost our shape a bit, and got a bit too spread out. It allowed them to use their passing game to cut through us, so we can't do that either. I think we've got to stick more or less to our game plan that we normally use. We will press them, we will, attack and everything else, but perhaps not commit as much forward as we did at Ibrox in the second half.
Well, the game starts at 7:15 tomorrow, and you're assuming that Andy Halliday's playing. If you've listened to Steven Gerrard's press conference, which is just coming on, you might think differently. So if you don't mind going to mute, let's hear from our manager, Steven Gerrard, MBE.
Stephen, Ryan Jack, Scott Arfield and Hassan Uncle Valley, so them all travel here. Are they all good to go? And if they are, how much of a boost is that for you?
I think where we sit right now, they're all good to go. Obviously, we're just about to do our final training session and preparations, assuming they all come through. And they'll all be available for selection, which is good news for us.
How do you approach this one, Stephen, given that you've got a 2-goal lead to protect?
Yeah, I think we have to sort of try and park the advantage we've got from the first leg and approach this game in isolation. And we're coming here in good form. We're coming here with confidence. We realise we're playing a very difficult opponent that carry a real threat. But we have confidence that we've got enough, and we're going to put in a performance to get us through.
Given that Maribor obviously have to come and take the game to you to an extent, could that play into your hands given the strength you have middle to front?
We hope so. At some point, Maribor are after going to take certain risks in the game, and I'll pick a team with enough attacking talent in the team to hopefully go and hit Maribor's way. This is not a case of us just coming here to hang on and try and grind through the 90 minutes to try and get over the line. This is an opportunity for us to go and show a team that's moving forward, a team that's growing, a team that's got confidence. So I want my players to play as big players and as a big team tomorrow and show that we're a threat away in Europe.
Obviously, John Flanagan's suspended. Would you have any qualms if it were to be Andy Halliday to move into left back?
Well, I first and foremost, I trust all my players. Every single player on the aeroplane I trust. And I'm confident that if any of them are called upon, they'll come out and do the shirt justice. I think the good thing for me at the moment is I've got every single person in the squad fighting to be in the starting 11. It's a shame John's suspended and Borna's not available. So it will be an opportunity to someone else, and they have to be ready to take that challenge. But I have confidence in every player. As you can respect, I won't be giving any names out today. I think it shows quite clearly that this fella next to me might be starting, but that's as much as you're going to get.
Jim, you mentioned after Sunday's game with the second red card that the team picked up that you were going to speak to the boys about the importance of keeping their discipline. Have you spoken to them since? Have you made that clear on how important is it that they listen to it this time?
Yeah, we spoke to the team straight after the game in the dressing room and also echoed their thoughts. on one of the recovery days, I think the players understand the importance of trying to be disciplined and keeping 11 men on the pitch, especially when games are in the balance like this. You know, with referees that we don't know very well. I think it's very important that players don't take any unnecessary risks. The job's difficult enough with 11 men, especially against a top team like Maribor. So again, before kick-off, I'll mention it again. So surely 3 times is enough.
Maribor, like some of the previous opponents, have been pretty vocal in the build-up to this game, saying that they're pretty confident they can get a result and overcome this tie. How much of a test of nerve is this going to be for your team, and do you think this is perhaps the biggest test of nerve that they've had so far under these leadership?
It'll certainly be a test. It'll be a tough test, but you know, so was Osijek and so was Scoopy, because we weren't 100% match fit. I think it'd be very naive of my players to go in and think that this is going to be a walkover or going to be very easy. We understand the threat that Maribor come with. We know they're a Champions League category team. So we come here with respect, but at the same time we won't be getting nervous or scared about any comments that come out of Maribor. We'll basically worry and focus on us. I believe the team are ready, and I believe the team are capable of getting the result that favours us.
James, you scored against Scoopy, you set up the goal for Lasana last week. How much are you growing and enjoying these Rangers European experiences?
Yeah, I love it. You know, playing in Europe's obviously a big thing. I've been lucky enough to do it early on in my career, but to do it here at Rangers, it's extra special.
I wonder how much confidence it gives a middle to attacking player, knowing that the defence has been so solid. I don't think Rangers have yet to go behind in a game yet. How much freedom does that then give you?
Absolutely. You know, the boys at the back have done great. As well as they have attacking as well, you know, Connor getting the goal at the weekend, so it's good to know that there's that solid base behind you, and depending on the tactics, we're all going to do it together. You know, we will go behind in a game at one point, I'm sure we will over the season. It's just about how we react it.
A wee while ago now, but when you were at Motherwell, I'm pretty sure you scored a hat-trick in a European game, and I think you were the club's top scorer in Europe. If you were to not replicate that, but make that sort of impression in Rangers, what would that mean to you?
Yeah, a lot, obviously. For one, hopefully it means we get through to the next round. But you know, I go into every game thinking about trying to score or try to set up goals. So if hopefully I can do that, if I'm playing tomorrow night, then hopefully it helps us get through.
There was a lot said at Sunday's game about just the way how impressive Rangers started the first half an hour before the sending off. Does it feel like this is a Rangers team that is just growing every week and getting better? Do you think you've shown your best performance yet?
I'm pretty sure we've not shown our best performance yet. You know, it's a long season, but we're working towards that. Every game I feel like we're getting a bit better, doing things a little bit more efficiently than we did the game before. So that's all we're doing at the moment. You know, we've done well obviously before the sending off on Saturday, so we want to do that again, plus more.
James, how big, let's say, an influence or a positive reaction from the team is the fact that you're now coached by Steven Gerrard? Do you think that gives an extra boost of confidence to your team?
Yeah, I think so. You know, he's obviously been there and done it all. So if we can't learn off him, then who are we going to learn off? So yeah, he's been great, as have all the other staff that have come in. You know, there's a real team ethic in the staff and in the players, and that we're all in it together. So if we stay all in it together, I think obviously we can go a long way.
Stephen, you said at the top there that you're not going to come here, your team's not going to come here to hang on. Have you seen week by week that extra confidence growing in your team, that they can express themselves freely in places like this and effectively kill off the tie with 1-2 goals?
Well, yeah, you know, it's my job to come here with a game plan that gets the balance right. You know, we don't know now how the game's going to pan out. It's very difficult to predict. You know, what Maribor are going to do, how they're going to approach it. But in terms of us, I think we're looking for the balance where we don't give much away and we defend and we're organised and we've got a good shape about us. But in terms of the personnel, I will be picking people within the team who are capable of going the other side and creating for us. And I have no doubt tomorrow that we'll create chances. The challenge for the player is, can we go and take an important one, and can someone within our setup get that very important goal, and that's what big players do. They come to difficult venues at important times, and they step up and they score important goals. And I'm hoping that I get the team selection right and the game plan right, so I was able to go and do that.
And if you got the first one, that'd be very hard for them to come back, wouldn't it?
Well, I think it depends when and if that goal comes. If we were to score that goal very early, there's still a lot of time left. And in football, I've learnt over the years that you can never become complacent and rest on your laurels. Certainly not at this level, because we're playing against talented players tomorrow and a good team that are capable of hurting you if you don't approach it right. So for me, it's not over till the whistle's done. But of course, it certainly helps our cause if we are to get a goal.
Stephen, you spoke at the weekend about you made a couple of changes in order to keep the boys fresh for tonight. How confident that if you have to get through this time, perhaps even going to the group stages, the depth numbers that will allow you to cope with going Thursday, Sunday for another couple of months yet?
Well, I'm very happy with my squad of players. They're all doing very, very well at the moment. They're all buying into what we're trying to do, and as Jamie said, we're trying to connect and move forward together positively. But I've made no secret that if we can add another body to that, or maybe a couple, we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the window pans out. I think then I'll be more than satisfied with having enough bodies to face what comes our way. But there's no point me worrying about that if we're not going to go and get the right result tomorrow. The only way we're going to need a bigger squad is if we are good enough to go and qualify for the Europa League.
If you do get to Europa League, you think extra bodies would be definitely required?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Mr. Gerrard, Rangers were either not very successful or absent from European competition, understandably, in recent years. How big of an imperative or pressure it is to have a successful European campaign right away?
I think there's always a big level of pressure being the Rangers manager or being the Rangers player. It's a huge football club. There's an expectation amongst the fans that you have to win football matches, so it doesn't matter whether you're in Europe or any cup or league domestically. It always carries that weight of pressure and responsibility, but that's what we like, that's what we love, that's what we enjoy, and that's why we're here, to try and do our best for the club. For me, I'm a person who likes to enjoy that pressure and responsibility. And we all go in there to try and give our best.
Thanks for that, Fox. I'll go to Blue first. How did you pick up on that about the left back position?
It's quite interesting. I think I got the impression that he's got somebody in mind other than Halliday. As who it might be, I don't know.
That was the vibe I picked up as well, mate. That was the vibe I picked up. Bridgeman?
I just picked up, my honest opinion, it's going to be Halliday. I didn't pick up anything that would guide me away from Halliday, to be perfectly honest with you. I just never picked it up that way at all.
Well,
his trust is implicit in his players. In all probability, it wouldn't surprise me if he played Murphy at left back. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me in the least. He's got his idea what he wants to do. My guess is it'll be Halliday at left back, but that's not written. It's not in writing, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Big Ulster.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, mate. It's hard to second guess, isn't it? Because we've seen so many different formations, different players. So I don't know. I would have thought, just given it to start, Andy Halliday, because that's where he's played before for us. I've also threw a few of us through the idea that it might be or could be Glenn Middleton, only for the reason that he did put him in there in the second half of the Wigan friendly. But whether or not he's played there enough to be thrown into such a big, tough game, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, mate. But I think whoever plays there for us, it'll be probably an avenue where Maribor will be looking to exploit, because it'll be, whoever's putting in that position, it'll be someone who hasn't played it as often, as a recognised left back would have done before.
Mm-hmm. Cushy, what did you make of that? How did you take the vibe for that, and what did you think of the rest of the press conference with the manager and Jamie Murphy?
I think I didn't take up that Halliday wasn't going to be at left back. I think Halliday will be at left back. I think it's equally as important, though, with Halliday being at left back, as who we play in front of him. And for what I've seen at the tail end of last season, I definitely wouldn't have Jamie Murphy in front of him because I don't think Murphy provides enough support to Halliday at left back. I didn't think the two of them gelled particularly well at the tail end of last season, and Halliday was isolated when he was playing at the end of last season. So I don't think Jamie Murphy. Well, I wouldn't put Jamie Murphy at left midfield. In terms of the rest of the press conference, he always comes. He always comes across to me as a man who has been there, done it, bought the T-shirt, and nothing is a surprise to him. So and I think he is. That's getting across to both the press that are asking him the questions and across to his players as well. So there's no mickey taking of the manager. There's no sly questions. The questions to Gerrard are a lot more football focused. It's obviously the press for a lot more time to think about them and things before they address them. Because it does know his football and he's not to be messed about with. So it looks as if Gerrard looks to me as if he's growing into this role daily, and it looks as if he's for a man who's just been in the job 2.5 months, he just looks to me as if he's been in there an awful lot longer than that. With his demeanour and the way he talks to the press, he's been absolutely fantastic. But I don't think I think Halliday will be left back, but I think we need to put someone in front of him who will protect him more than I think Jamie Murphy would. I think Murphy's a good option coming off the bench if we have to chase a goal. But I wouldn't start him personally in front of Halliday. I would have someone more workmanlike like Kent in front of Halliday to help Halliday and work the line out.
Dave?
Yeah, no, I agree with Kish. Yeah, I think Halliday's probably the person that's exposed. It's not his natural position. I think if I was the opposition, that's where I would go for and that's where I would attack. So he does need some sort of support. And I think that is a weak spot tomorrow night. If that's the case, if he does start with Halliday, which I think he will because I can't see who else he would start, I think that's where we need to protect and cover. And that's my only nervousness around tomorrow night, is just around our defence. So hopefully we do put the right players on the park tomorrow night and we have a good night.
Can I come in there, Ox? Yeah.
On you go, mate.
I was just going to say, we watched them at Ibrox and they're a really good team. And they put lovely passes through and they can gauge how players play and where they'll be when they come to try and attack or challenge their own players. So they put balls through, it can cut right through the defence and it might end up near one of our defenders. And at the times that our defender ended up with their attacker actually winning the ball off him and ended up a goal side of our defender. So that's what we need to watch out for. They're very clever players, the ones that are both passing the ball and the ones that are receiving it. And yes, I do agree that most teams would play against us will play a lot of diagonal balls because that's our weakest points. Particularly, may I say, they're charging down, they'll come down the left a lot because they know that Tavernier likes to go forward. So they watch us, they understand what we're doing. But I have to say this, our manager doesn't half talk a good game. He's absolutely brilliant. So relaxed and no rash, nothing rash. And I have to say, when you get someone like Rahman trying to talk football to a person like Steven Gerrard, it makes me snigger a wee bit. So I do. Forgive me for sniggering, but I do. I can't help it. But really and truly, we just need to watch it. This team are a really good team, and our manager knows it. They're a really good team.
On you go, Blue, before we go forward.
I just had a thought about while Bridgeman was on there. Do you know we've got a converted fullback in our squad? Or I heard a story there's a converted fullback in our squad who plays on the left-hand side.
The boy Kent.
That's it. I think that could be it.
Well, I've not seen him there, mate, and obviously be interesting. I would rather have Ross McIlroy playing there than maybe Kent, if I'm being honest, mate. He's done it once before.
Yeah, he's playing players out of position again, mate. You know that we've given managers such a slaughtering over playing players out of position before.
Halliday It's not his natural position, and I wouldn't say at the moment in time it's Kent's natural position.
Aye, but he played. I'm just guessing that he played at some point down at Liverpool in the unders when Gerrard was there at fullback. So it might end up that way.
Shadow, would we not be in danger of taking out our pacey guys? Kent's very pacey, and he's an out ball, you know. If you get a chance to get the ball out to him and let him run, he can maybe get 30, 40 yards of ground before he gets, shall we say, needs to do anything amazing with the ball. And that's a great relief for a defence, and particularly defensive midfielders as well. So I'm just wondering if we would do that, if we would bring Kent back into a left-back role where he is a really good out ball. I just, don't get me wrong, I get fascinated by it all. The tactics of it all are absolutely brilliant, you know.
He could play. Well, the thing is, he could play Murphy up on that left-hand side, or he could totally throw a spanner in the works. And now, don't get overexcited here, Bridge, but he could go 3-5-2, throw total spanner in the works. You know, to do anything after, you know. Yeah. And I mean, we've got two wing back, play Middleton one side, play Tavernier the other, and then you got the three in the middle: Koulibaly, Arfield, and Jack, hopefully. And that would certainly be strong in the middle. So we could get anything, you know. We got Ox and I got it totally wrong last game, didn't we, Ox? So I'm not trying to try anything.
Never seen that team coming. Fox, what's your view on the left back position and the press conference, mate?
I think he'll play Halliday, mate. There's a lot more to being put in a defensive role. You've got to know when to step out, etc. Halliday has played a short time with this new defence there, and I think he'll get the nod, mate. You can't just bring somebody like Kent back, and he's the sort of mistake that might not step out in time and let somebody in. Do you know what I mean? For being offside, we've got a well-drilled defence at the moment, and I think Halliday will be there with Murphy in front of him, mate. The overall press conference was excellent as usual.
Do you think, Cushy, do you think Steven Gerrard's getting more confident, or he's understanding, or he's just a natural, mate?
I think he's. I don't think confidence has ever been his issue. You know, I think he's just growing into the role, and he seems to have taken it to like a duck to water. You know, and I think he's. You know, he's obviously finding his feet, and maybe the demeanour that he gives outwardly is not what he's feeling inside. You know, I don't know, you know, but he certainly comes across as someone who has, you know, has been there, done it, bought the T-shirt, and he is, he's passing that information and that calmness and on to his players. It always mentions in almost every press conference is how much he relished the pressure and being in these situations. So, for me, the amount of times that he says that is obviously he's trying to get a message onto the players to try and do the same. You know, previously we've been with previous managers and previous teams, we've been guilty of getting into a shell in these type of situations. It's obvious that Gerrard is trying to build an ethos within the team that to not get into a shell, to embrace them, to grab this opportunity with both hands. You know, and because that's what he done when he was a player. You know, so. If he can do that, and I think he has, I think he's certainly well down the road and getting that across to his players, and I think so much to the good. I struggle to see where Gerrard has put a foot wrong since he's walked in the door.
No, you've been nitpicking, lads. If you don't mind going to mute if you're talking, getting some feedback. Dave, he's doing a great job. He's trying to instill in the players that it's a short career. You've got to give your all, and if you don't want to play in these big games, what's the point? Eh?
No, absolutely, mate. Ox, honestly, I genuinely believe, you know, there was mixed views when Gerrard came in, and I think I was probably one of them. Do you know, I thought the guy's great. I couldn't believe it. It was surreal. I think there was moments in time where I sat in front of the TV watching Sky News. 2 minutes to 6, Derek McInnes had turned his back and walked away. Probably the best thing that ever happened. I think looking at us just now, you bring in Gerrard, it was a massive risk because he had never managed, but given the calibre of the player, I think Dave made a cracking statement. You know, what he lacked in management, he had oozes of in terms of playability and what he could bring and influence the team. I genuinely bought into him. I thought he was great. I didn't think I'd see it this quickly. I have so much confidence in the team and what we do. I trust the manager. I think he bodes well. He understands how to work the media. I don't see any media challenge him, and whenever I see them do, he handles it comfortably. There's been one or two times where he's been challenged and he just shoots them down dead straight away. So we're not in a position now where the media walks away and makes slogans or back pages based off the back of responses from our management team. We are very comfortable in our management team, our player team, boardroom seem pretty okay at this stage given our past history, and I think everything is going really well for us. I have every trust and confidence in the manager making the right decision tomorrow night, and I think even if he does make a mistake, I think we've got enough team there and well-equipped team to cover for that mistake. So every confidence that we'll progress tomorrow night, genuinely do. I don't see anything but a win.
Okay, how do you see us setting up and what personnel? Blue Shadow.
Well, there we go. That's what. So I think it'll be. I think he will go 4-3-3. As
Blue.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Ulster, you with us?
No, Blue's still talking there, Ox.
Yeah. I think he'll go 4-3-3. I think we'll have Tavernier, and I think it will be the normal centre back pairing of Katic and Goldson. And who will be at left back? That's a big question mark. But I think he'll probably go with Halliday. I think it will be Koulibaly, Jack, and Arfield in the midfield three, and Ken, Morelos, and Candias.
All right, interested, mate. What be yourself, Big Ulster?
Yeah, well, I think it'll be the normal defence, obviously not the left back. I think he'll probably will himself throw in Halliday there, mate, just because he's played there before. I think he'll probably put him in there. Maybe go on a 5 midfield, obviously with Koulibaly, Jack, Artfield. I think Murphy's already his way. He was talking he's going to start. I don't know if it'll be Kent or Candias. I think maybe Candias, for his work rate low, does so much. I think he might throw him in there, mate, just to run the legs off himself, to be honest, and be a bit of a nuisance. And Morelos up top.
Bridgeman.
Yeah, I agree with the bodies that Blue Shadow said. I think they may go along the same lines as what Ulster said, maybe put a 5 or a 4 in the midfield. That's certainly the way I'd like it to be, but I'd like it to be a wee bit more defensive. However, I realise we need people to spring from the mid, and Kent would be an ideal boy to do that. Murphy's got a lot of experience, so it could be either of those two. But I think we Candias will win. He's won the heart. I think he'll get in. So there's no much difference with my thoughts and everybody else's thoughts. It's up to now anyway. I think Halliday will go left back for sure.
All right, Fox.
McGregor, Tav, Katic and Goldson, Halliday. A 5 across the middle of Candias, Koulibaly, Arfield and Jack. And I think he said in his press conference Murphy was the one was starting, mate. Did he not?
Yeah.
He did.
I think he said that.
You could take that tongue in cheek or whatever, couldn't you?
No, I think usually the guy who does the press conference is playing, mate. But that's only. I thought he said he was actually apart from this guy here. I'm giving you nothing, more or less. But they 5 across the middle, Morelos up front.
There you go, same as me, Fox.
Yeah, fools seldom differ.
Woohoo!
Low blow.
You can be drafted as everybody else, you know.
What's that, mate?
I said you can get drafted as well as everybody else.
Oh, come on, Foxy. That's not bad. That's a nice saying.
I understand that. On you go, Cushy, before there's a fallout here.
I think there'll be, roughly what the guys are saying, McGregor, Tav, Goldson, Katic. I think he will go with Halliday at left back. I could see 5 in the midfield with the 3 boys that he said is fit in Koulibaly, Arfield and Jack all starting. I think he'll have Candace on the right, and I still think he'll put Kent on the left rather than starting Murphy, even though he kind of intimated in the press conference that Murphy might be starting with Morelos up front. I think Murphy's a good option on the bench, as is Ajaria. And if we do need a goal, we could bring those boys on. But I think probably discretion is a better part of Valor with that midfield rather than starting Ajaria and Murphy. But we shall see. Steven Gerrard and Amy will have very different things in mind. That first goal is vital, and it may well be he wants it quick and he wants to go out and see if he can get one in 10 minutes with maybe start Murphy in a far more attacking lineup than we suspect. But it'll be interesting, and I think the fantastic thing is we've actually got so many options that we can rely on in certain situations with the pool that we've got now.
Dave?
No, I think I agree with the rest of the lads there. I can't really say much to change the lineup, but I think we're going to do well. Regardless of the way that we play, like I said earlier on, my only concern is the defensive back. If we go with a back four and we've got Hardy in the left back, then I just hope we bring in protective cover for him. Whoever we put in ahead of him has to understand that and has to realise that we need to track back and protect him as well, because he's not one for pace. So whoever we put in that position, then that'll make him right, I think. But let's be honest, the way that they set up is the way that will dictate our play. So that's pretty much from my point. Pretty much similar to the rest of the guys.
I don't know if Halliday will be playing. I really don't. It's his one cameo against Wigan, and the rest of the time I think he's come on in midfield, bits and pieces. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing, but something tells me that McCrory will be playing. I don't know why. And then for me, it'll be a 4-5-1. Candace on the right. I'd have Murphy in and ahead of Kent. I think he holds the ball better. He's not as pacey, but Kent on the bench. And then the 3 boys that come back, Jack, Arfield and Koulibaly, and obviously the Buffalo up front. So we're all pretty similar. Bridgeman.
I wonder if the wisdom of playing McCrory after his red card. I think he was. He looked a bit.
He's fresh.
I understand that, but I'm just meaning. I wonder at the wisdom of playing him, because it didn't look anywhere near the pace he normally runs at. We can see that guy outstripped him for sure. And these guys we're playing tomorrow night are very fast. A very fast team.
I think he got caught in the wrong side of him, and it wasn't his fault.
No, I'm not saying it was.
Up to that point, you said he was the best man on the park.
Oh yes, absolutely. He's a bit playing in a midfield role and doing what he's supposed to do. He's never a defender. It was the wrong side, and it was the wrong time to make the tackle, but he took it. He took the chance. It could have been a yellow, and we got away with it type of thing. But I don't think. You see it all the time, don't you? Bad tackles come in. You think the guy wasn't even going to get the ball or something like that. Stupid, But I just wonder if the guy had, anything at all. I don't know if that guy would have got to the ball. I think he was unlucky, but I'd still think he was a wee bit slow getting to him, if you follow what I mean. He shouldn't have been there in the first place. He shouldn't need to do it. The centre-back should have seen it. It's just it just happened. The way it happened, it was just bad for him, that was all. So I just wonder if he'll play him, given the fact that he said this is a red card. Let's hope, if he does play him, that he comes out with another sterling performance. That's all I want to see.
My only thoughts about playing him is his physicality and his pace more than Andy's got cushy.
He certainly has. He certainly has that, and it's a good shout. I never even considered putting McCrory in at left back. One of the things though that Gerrard said, I believe in his press conference, was that he will put in a balanced team, and with McCrory being a right footer, that as opposed to Halliday being a left footer, the balance there's more balance obviously with Halliday in that position. So that was kind of what steered me towards Halliday being in. But but McCrory's not a bad shout. But I don't know how the boys are getting on. Obviously, how the boys are getting on in training, how they feel about it. I don't know if McCrory's ever played at left back before his entire life. So that's obviously a factor as well. Whereas we know at least partially Andy Halliday has at sometimes. So it's a decent shout, McCrory, and I can see a point with the physicality and the pace. But the way you mentioned a balanced team, and that led me to believe he's going to stick in a left footer, and that would point to Andy Halliday.
Can I ask a question? Why is he not even considering Miles Bierman?
He's not anywhere near the first team squad, mate.
I know why. He's not. Nobody's ever given the young lad a chance since he had that penalty thing against the Mankey mob. He's not even been anywhere near the first team, so I don't know why. I mean, normally when you do your first, second, and third choice left backs out, you'd surely think as an under-20 that he'd be the one that gets the shout, and he's been captain in under-20, so I don't know what's been going on there.
No, for me, mate, he's not even been near the bench in 18 months, really. So he's either no kicked on, or I don't know if that'd be an answer. If it went pear-shaped, the manager would get slaughtered. No.
Is that the boy who went out on loan today to Bury?
No, that was
Barjonas.
Jamie
Barjonas. Sorry, yes.
I didn't get that. I thought he'd went to Partick Thistle for a year, but then he's went to Bury on loan, so I don't know what happened there.
It's just a question. It's just like, why would you say we've not heard anything about Jonas at all?
No, Bierman, he's disappeared, mate. He's really disappeared. But it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I'm not saying that McCrory will play. I'm just saying that I've got there's part of me thinks he might play.
If Bierman's not up to it, then get him gone. That's just.
But that's the other thing. They're not going to move if they're on contracts, mate. That's the problem. So we'll see where it takes us. A real exciting time tomorrow night, Ulster.
Yeah, mate, it's exciting, but I'm sure it will be all a bag of nerves before kick-off. But I trust in the manager, mate. I trust in the team. I think his interview, Stephen Gerrard's interview, was very, very good, mate. He has belief in his side. He's already said he's not going to sit back. They're not going to park the bus and things like this. But I think we will respect Maribor, because I think we'll have to. They are a decent side. We've seen enough of them at the game at Ibrox that they can punish us, they can hurt us. But it's all about keeping our heads, keeping our shape, and trying to attack when we can. And I also think tomorrow night, free kicks, set pieces, free kicks and corners for us, if we get any and when we get them, they'll be pivotal, because I think we're dangerous, definitely dangerous from them. We've got we've got people who can now put the ball into dangerous positions, and we've got two big centre backs there who are very good at attacking them. So I think if we can nick a goal even that way, mate, that'll be great for us. But I don't think we'll go all out attack, because we don't need to. We'll soak up the pressure, but as long as we keep our shape and keep our heads, I think we can come through the time to get through to the next round.
It's Cushy said, Brish, it's going to be one of the nights when we're sponsored by DFS, when we are behind the sofa,
Absolutely.
It'll still be exciting, though.
I'll repeat what I said earlier. They're a very good team we're going to play, a really good team, very clever, and some smashing players in their midst. And we need to be on our top game. We need to be, most assuredly, we need our defensive heads on. We don't want to be giving anything away if we can help it, and a clean sheet will do us fine, seriously. But that doesn't mean to say we're going to be packing everybody in our 18-yard box. We can be defensive further out at the pitch, So we just need make sure we're not losing bodies. If we're playing four at the back, then we're playing four at the back, finished. Don't be running up there and away, up the top, out the way. No. If Tavernier's going to go up at all and he talks to somebody else in the midfield, and that guy comes back in straight in there to cover him and let him go up. No, none of this. You can't leave your defence one down, because if you're one down against a team like that and they get the ball, they could punish you big style.
But the argument will be, Cushy, that how the pace and the way we dominated in the second half, you could try and play it like that.
I think that's definitely the template, and I think that's what Gerrard has been trying to say to the team. Go out and do that from the get-go, and don't wait on me giving you a ball kind of half past time to do it. So that that's the template for I think for his team for the rest of the season, not just on Thursday. Is to take the game by the scruff of the neck, play at a high tempo, play the way we want to play that suits us, and teams will struggle against us. So if we could start this game the way we started that second half against Maribor, we what I said earlier won't come to fruition. We will have no issues because I think I think we'd score at least 2 goals. It's whether we can get up and take the game away from Maribor at that early stage is the issue or not. I would love it to happen, but I think we'll probably be a little bit more cagey. I think, and I would guess that they'll probably come out with our tails up, trying to do to us what we done to them in the second half at Ibrox, only from the get go. So we need to try and nip that in the bud, and the only way by doing that is keeping it tight, working hard, keeping possession, and see if we can nick a goal ourselves.
Dave?
No, I absolutely agree. I think before the match, I was kind of nervous around it. I think, like all the other gents said earlier on, or maybe perhaps through the week, is, if we got a couple of games in Europe, that would be great. But I genuinely see the way that we set up and actually played against them, albeit the kind of latter stages of the first half. But the whole game, we actually played really well and outplayed them across the park in all areas. And I think that if we go with our own game plan, then we will do that. We will win, and we will win comfortably. If we don't, and we allow them to play their game, then we could potentially be on to a losing streak. But I genuinely believe, I have every confidence, and I do. I think that we will absolutely win when we go away tomorrow, and we'll win well, we'll win comfortably, and it will set us up to go into the next game and then on to the group stages. I just do, guys. I can't see past us losing, and I don't know if I'm an optimist or not, but genuinely, I just can't see us losing. I think we're that good just now that we won't lose, regardless who we put in left back or not. I think we're that good.
Is that because of the second half performance last week, mate?
Sorry, bud?
Was that because of the second half performance last week?
I think it's been pre-season all the way through. Watching it early stages, and all the way through the second half of last season as well. Sorry, not last season, but last week. We played really well. There was times last season where I used to sit back and worry and panic, and it was the DFS time when people used to cross balls into our box. But see now, I'm not concerned. Genuinely not concerned. I think the goal that they scored was, I think, by accident. I genuinely don't think that was an actual attempt on goal, or if it was, then it was a well-struck goal, and fair play, nothing to do with McGregor. But genuinely, I'm confident. Even if they do score, I still think we've got enough up front as well we'll score again. So I don't hit the panic button. It's the first time in a few years that I feel like that with Rangers, but I'm genuinely in a confident place with Rangers. I believe in the management team. I believe in the structure. I believe that we're doing the right things behind the scenes as well, and I think we've got enough in our locker to get past these guys. I'm not naive enough to not think that they are a Champions League side, and they do have some skillful players in there, but there was nothing that I saw last week prior to the start. Prior to the start, I was nervous, but there's nothing that I saw last week that worried me. And I get it's Ibrox, it's a packed-out 50,000-seater stadium, and the fans were behind us, which is great, and it could be an intimidating atmosphere, but I think the boys as well that we brought in are well equipped enough. I think somebody made a point the other night, Gerrard chooses to play either 3 or 5 of the last players from last season as opposed to play them all together, and that's the difference. The mentality in this team, the winning mentality as well, is there to be seen, and it's clear. If we go a goal behind, we don't back off, we don't lose it mentally, we go out and we go to kill, Koulibaly as well in that central midfield is key. I think if we get Jack back as well, Jack's like a brand new signing for me. I think he's been fantastic, phenomenal this season. I don't know what Gerrard's done, but it's just unreal. I just can't see past us losing. If we lose, I don't know what it'll be. I think it'll be a dodgy decision or something. I don't think that it'll be through a fault of our own.
No, fair comment, mate. I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. Blue Shadow.
I'm feeling quite confident about tomorrow night because I think Mr. Gerrard's got it. I think he knows pretty much what he's going to do, and I think it will be to continue with the high tempo pressing game because it works on two fronts. A, it creates chances for us, which is our natural game, and we will score. And B, it disrupts their passing game, and that's what's certainly at Ibrox what their game was all about. When they got the time to put their foot on the ball and pass, they were dangerous. When we were pressing them and harassing them and not giving them the time to pick their passes, they were no problem for us at all. So I think that's what he will continue on with.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. If we get the pace of the tempo, we keep the ball well, Bridgeman, then Big Ulster. We keep the ball well in the right areas, and don't put myself under any pressure.
Absolutely. I can only emphasise as strong as I can that when our defence get the ball, we either boot it up the park, out the park, or whatever we're going to do with it, or indeed, even better, give it to one of the attacking midfielders and let them play football. They're the people that can do it.
Is that you accepting that a defender should get to somebody who knows how to play the game?
Oh, I've always said that. I have always said that. They must be able to find the person that can actually play football and likes to have the ball at his feet and very comfortable. Find that person, and there's your man all night. If you can get the ball down to your own feet, but don't go running like we've done before. Don't want Goldson running up to their penalty box and all that and then falling over the ball or even having a dig. You know, either put it out of the park or don't put it to the other player because you've just left yourself 60 yards out of the park, you know. We just can't afford that. So please, get the ball down, play nice passes, diagonal if you wish, but find somebody that can play football.
Ulster?
Yeah, I think on the ball, we're going to have to be calm, pass it, make sure we don't give silly possession away. We will have points, that's just the way football goes, but in the main, we need to keep a hold of it, need to pass it to our men, the ones that can create. And off the ball, we're going to have to do a lot of work. All the players are going to have to put a shift in. They're all going to have to press. We've seen against Maribor, when you press them, they can lose the ball. I think we've seen that a few times. They were good when you stay off them, but when you press them and work hard, you can see the flaws in their game. But I don't mind if it's a boring 0-0, I will take that every day of the week. But if we go and put a cracking performance in and beat Maribor away, like Dave thinks we can do, what a statement that'll put out to everybody in European football and in Scotland if we can go and do the performance and get the victory.
Yeah, well, as you, I think it was yourself said at the start of the show, you take a boring nothing each draw. And if I'm being really honest, so would I, you know, just to kick us on. Cushy, what on you go, Ulster, finish off?
No, I do. I would take it every day of the week. I think I got a few messages from a few of my mates after the Scoopy game, and they were saying that was crap, you know, that was a bore. And I was, as I said to me lads, see when you're away from home and you're not chasing a goal, you bore them to death. If that's what you have to do to get the victory, I think we'd all take that.
Tactical, pal. It's tactical. It's modern day tactical stuff. This is what you got to do. And if you don't, you know, park in the bus if you can help it. But boring football, get the ball. If you can't see a pass, push it back to the keeper and then get it back again and work it up. See if you can find the pass then. Seriously, that's the way to play it. It's the only way you can do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's all about being brave and the how influential could the substitutes be tomorrow, Cushy? Because there'll be certain people putting a lot of shift in, maybe the wide men having to support. Kent could come on and replace them. Who else will we got? Obviously Middleton played for under 21 so last night, so he's not there. So it's going to be maybe a 13-man, maybe even a 14-man game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we will have to put in a shift tomorrow night. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But fortunately, we've got the players in my midfield and in my squad that are more than willing to do that. So in terms of the bench, I've said previously, I personally don't think Murphy would start. But he's a great guy to come on if we're looking to nick a goal or just extra energy in the field. Same with Ajaria, you know, he put in a real shift. I felt against St Mirren when he had to. So I've got no problems with that boy's work rate. I know a few people that I talked to felt it was maybe a little lazy, but I thought he put in an absolutely fantastic shift against it when we went down to 10 men. So
is that Jari you're speaking about?
Yes.
Aye. Okay.
Yeah, when you go.
I'm going to ask you, Chrissy, if just for talk's sake, if Steven Gerrard was to push Ryan Jack into left back and say start Jari in the 3 in midfield, would you be happy enough?
No, I think if he started Jari, I would be absolutely fine with that. I think the boy's a good player, and I think he is well capable of finding the channels that Morelos is running into. So if we're looking to get a goal over there, then certainly Jari would be a really good option for us. And if he starts him, I wouldn't have any complaint with him starting Jari in place of maybe Arfield, for example, or someone like that, or even Candace and pushing Koulibaly a bit further right. But I wouldn't put anybody else probably under than Halliday at left back, and that's not because I think Andy Halliday is going to be a fantastic left back, but there's a risk we're going to, no matter who we put there, and we're just going to have to manage that risk as best we can tomorrow night. And I think probably the least risky option is Andy Halliday there. But Ajaria, for me, if he starts him, puts Koulibaly right and drops Candace and has Candace as a backup on the bench along with Jamie Murphy. That's what great options we have there. And it's just fantastic legs to come on the park, and if we have to get a goal, give us some various different options. So yeah, I think it's good. I touched on earlier, we've got a really, really good midfield for these type of situations that we can chop and change, and it's probably the main reason, as well as what with the centre defence. That really strong midfield is probably the reason that we've got so far in more cup competition so far.
Can I come in, Ox? Yeah.
No, you can't, mate.
Okay.
I've just been informed that Middleton and Sadiq travelled, so I was wrong there. So the possibility they'll be on the bench, and obviously they could come on and give his legs. Bridgeman, we've reached that time of the evening, mate, and it's last word to your good self.
Oh, go for it then. Well, a smashing night again tonight, lads. Absolutely brilliant. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, massive, massive game tomorrow night for us. Everybody keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers need us. Keep it going.
Yep, can I thank everybody for taking the time to join us? Dave King's Wine Cellar, Bridgeman, Cushy, Boz Shadow, Big All-Star and the one and only Fox. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night, seeing if Andy Halliday's playing at 6:15, an hour before the kick-off, for a pre-match show, Rangers versus Maribor. See you tomorrow evening, 6:15. Take it away, Fox.
There's a pub in Green Street where all good proddies you will meet. So come down here and together we'll have a jar. A welcome there you will receive, so good that you won't want to leave. A fine wee pub is Saltcoats Mermaid Bar. You'll hear the sash, and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. We all support the Queen and Crown. The prices here are the best in town, and the bar staff, they are one terrific crew. Everyone laughing, full of cheer. It's one tremendous atmosphere, singing to support the red, white and blue. You'll hear the sash, and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. It's nice to come to the Mermaid Bar when Rangers are playing at Ibrox Park. You'll forget your worries and all your cares, singing songs against the Thames before you watch the Rangers win. For everyone here supports the Teddy Bears. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. If you are up from Belfast town, Tyrone, Fermanagh or County Down, Armagh, Antrim or London, Derry shores, the Mermaid is the place for you, so come and have a drink or two. Next time in Saltcoats you'll want to come back for more. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all.